Welcome everybody to the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card. So this is the penultimate, the second but last of the pairings of the Major Arcana that the wonderful Reena from Gold Key Guidance and I are collaborating on bringing you. So today we're looking at the ultimate alchemical marriage concept, the sun and the moon. So what we thought about that is that there's many different ways that the sun and the moon can be considered in tarot and astrology and alchemy and spirituality. So we thought of like four kind of balancing energies or balancing lenses to look through. And I'll do it in my particular way, and Reena no doubt will do it in her particular way. But what we felt about that is that there is the sun or moon energy, which is around how we see things clearly, whether we see them clearly in the daylight, in the bright light, when it's very open to everything, which would be the sun, or whether, so clarity has come through that, through sunlight, a bit like that saying that sunlight is the best disinfectant, or whether it's through the moon, the more gentle, the more hidden, the more mysterious, finding clarity in the intuitive and the hidden and so forth. The second lens is whether or not we are generating light ourselves, which is the sun, or we are reflecting light, which is the moon. The third is in terms of how we make decisions and choices. When we are very objective, that is a kind of sun energy. When we are very subjective, it's a moon energy. And last but not least, the life path of the sun versus the emotional path of the moon. So we felt that those were the lenses to look through. So I'm going to establish looking at each of those in turn, and then in terms of your energy, and I'm going to then look at how people respond to that, and then how best to use those energies. That's how I'm going to approach the sun. And as I say, I'm sure Reena will find her own way to express and explore the moon. But I would very much suggest with this one, with many collabs, you could potentially go, which of the two sides do I most want to look at? But I feel this is very much about balance. So I would strongly suggest, if you've come here to see the sun, also go and see Reena's the moon. If you've come from the moon, then welcome to see the sun, because I think it really is important to see the balance in your life. So you have three piles to choose from. You can, of course, go to more than one that if you want. I'm using different decks, which I all felt had very sun-like energy to them as part of the choice. So you may get energetically drawn to one or other. So pile number one has the sun card from the Unfolding Path. Pile number two has the sun card from the Painted Tarot. And pile number three has the sun card from the Radiant Wilds Tarot. So that may draw you. You may want to go to more than one. Whatever works for you. When you know what reading or readings you want to go to, the timestamps, as always, are in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Welcome pile one to your reading. So we're going to build this up a little bit with firstly color energy for how those different lenses operate with your sun manifestation, so to speak. Then we're going to look at astrology, and then we're going to look at the alchemy energy around it before we have a look with tarot at how people respond to you. But firstly, you chose the Unfolding Path and the sun card here. And I think this is a very interesting sun card. I feel like it speaks of many different generations, but a youthfulness at heart, no matter what age you are. Normally you see children on, if you're going to see people, you see children on sun cards, but none of the sun cards actually for the decks that I chose for this have that. And this one, I think in particular, is sort of showing this sort of sense of like a young adult. So no matter what age you are, there's a sense here of youthful dynamism. There's a sense of being very clear and open with this sort of red, sort of passionate, sort of like scarf showing the person. So I think there's an energy of being very open about your sun energy and who you are. And I feel it's a sharing sort of community energy too, I get from those flowers. So there's something in that. Now, what is interesting, given that, is that if there's a sense of being very transparent, very open, you're not hiding anything really. When we're looking at the first one, which is how you shed the sunlight for clarity, for seeing things, the energy we have here, color energy, is forest, elementals, fairies, magic. And there's a sense of sort of like the depths of the forest, which almost touches upon the moon for me as well, the sort of sense of mystery as well as clarity. So I think that there's something kind of magical and different and unique, and that's showing over here as well too, about your sun energy. I think people, when they see you clearly, and when you are expressing what you're seeing clearly, there is still an element of almost magic. And it almost is like this character is like a magician sort of lifting the veil on something. Like you have a insight to secret, deeper, magical knowledge in some way. And that's part of how you bring clarity to things and how you see clarity. So you can't exactly, it's not just in sort of broad daylight, looking at the facts, looking at the evidence. You're looking at something a bit deeper and a bit more magical than that. So that's the energy around how you sort of shed light on something. It's in sort of dappled, foresty sort of environments where maybe the light sort of like penetrates this sort of hidden and mysterious and magical place. So I think you see the world and life as magical and mysterious. And a lot of where you shine your light is to find the truth, but not to take away the magic. Like I think that you like that sense. Then when we have the energy over here about how you generate light, it says rare, it says uncommon, unique. So what you shine into the world is very individual, very magical, very individual. You are your own person. And I think with orchid energy there, it's sort of like very connected to the upper realms because it's got that sort of purple energy. But I sort of feel like it's seen, like you are seen. I feel like, that kind of what looks almost like a medal there. I think you're seen and there's a mystery again, this sort of sense of like these windows, what's behind the windows as well. So you show a certain amount that shows how different you are, that, like your light is very different, very unique, but you keep some mystery. There's something about you in the way that you use your sun energy that is both open and mesmerizing and magical, but also just a little bit hidden. And so it will be very interesting to see how your moon energy operates. Then when we're looking at how you make objective decisions, like the shining the light on something objectively, looking at it on that level, we have amber, ancestry, healing the past and history. And when we look at your life path, we have sepia, nostalgia, reminiscence and reverie. So what I find interesting about this is that there's something in your life path, there's something in what guides you in your decisions that connects to your ancestry, connects to your childhood, potentially connects to past lives. Like I think you're very dialed into the energy of time and the energy of lineage almost. Like I think I think you come from a magical lineage, whether your family directly recognize that or not. I think you do, and or it's come from something in past lives. So you are almost trying to bring something back in this life that it's almost like you're bringing the magic back. There's a sense like that to this. It's like, the concept that, alchemy, for instance, which is what we're talking about, is in fact the marriage of science and the mystical. So it's almost like there's something in you in your life path that's trying to bring that back, bring the magic back in this very uncommon, unique, performative sort of way that people are really drawn to. But it is drawing on some sort of a tradition. So you're not coming from nothing, you're coming from a knowledge and a tradition. So let's see how the astrology energy sort of plays out around your sun energy here. So with your clarity, with how you shine light on things and how you find the truth but you keep the magic, we have Chiron and Chiron. Wow, there's something deeply healing in this. You may be looking to heal very deep sort of past things, ancestral things, bring the magic back, resurrect that in some way. Like if you were from a lineage of witches or whatever, maybe it goes back to the Salem trials. Like there's something like that. There's something, and this is why there's sort of something both mysterious and open about what you're doing, but it's in the service of healing something. So that's interesting. You want clarity to heal, and you may bring magic to some sort of healing practice, but there's something a bit mysterious and different about what you do. So then how you're shining your light, Sun and Mercury. So it is your individuality, your sun energy is very clear here, and it's how you communicate. So you're a very strong communicator of whatever you do. There's a very strong mental process here. You can articulate what is different very, very clearly. I think this is also why you can keep mystery. It's like you could both reveal and conceal when it was necessary. Very, very interesting to know what your moon energy is with this, because there's a kind of an intellect you're bringing to it, and you're working out how to really show what is different about what you're doing. You're trying to break through something in some way with your sun energy. So then it's interesting, your decisions are in a lineage, are in a kind of a historical procession in a way. So the astrology around that is Mercury and Pluto. Okay, so there is a strong thing here where you are communicating your life path, but you are really trying to revolutionize something and get to the depths of something. And certainly if you're looking at ancestral things like that, very, very powerful. But there's a huge amount of power that you're accessing by accessing your ancestry. I think that many of you may be kind of hereditary witches or maguses or shaman or any of those sort of things, druids, something like that kind of energy for you. And so then your life path, which is connected to whatever this past is very clearly. We have Jupiter and Pluto. Okay, I think your life path is revealing the youthful face on something very ancient. Bringing forward into this modern world something very ancient, something very magical, really interesting energy. So let's see what you're alchemizing. What are you alchemizing in getting this sort of clarity, shedding the light on things? Fog, you're breaking through the fog. That's the healing. It's how to use the use of light and shadow, because I think that's what that forest says, to keep the mystery and the allure, but make it clear what you're trying to do. It's shedding light where it needs to be shed, dispelling the fog where it needs to be dispelled, but not taking away the mystery. When we're looking at then how that is how you shine your light with your unique creative message. Autumn. Okay, so this is where you are letting see, it's interesting because you're connected to the past, but you're also very clear on letting go that kind of energy from the past that no longer serves. But of course, when autumn comes and the leaves fall, they nourish the earth. So there is a sense of the lineage nourishing it, but it's also not that what you're trying to do with your sun energy is absolutely replicate the past. I think you're trying to modernize something very ancient. This is very, very interesting. Then when we go, okay, how you're making your decisions, connecting this very big transformative energy to this strategy and this communication. Oh my goodness, we have the Ouroboros, the great serpent. Yeah, what was old is new again. The big karmic cycles. Wow. So your life path energy, Mars is action, taking something forward. Very interesting that it's a male figure here for the sun, and a grown male figure. There's a sense of real action here. This is it's reviving. It's bringing action back. It's putting new blood in the veins of something that's old, but something and ancient and powerful. So wow, there's something very, very special in what you're doing in terms of your sun energy, Pole 1. So let's have a look at how other people respond to each of these things with tarot. So how do people respond to this kind of clarity that you do to clear the fog and so forth and heal things when they need to be healed without making it so stark and so open that it loses all its mystery? How do people respond to that? The Chariot, the Ten of Cups, they respond really well. The Two of Swords, okay, yeah. They really do respond very well to this, because what you do when you shine light into the mystery, you illuminate what is emotionally important to them and what is important to their destiny, but you don't give them all the answers. So you are not someone, you want to revive the magic. You don't want to tell them how the magic is done. And that is not to rob them of that. It's so that they find their own magic. So people respond very well to this because they feel like you are shining light where it's necessary for them to go where they need to go, but you're not forcing a decision before they're ready, and you're not making the decision for them. Okay, so if we then look at what's really unique in you, in what you're shining, your energy, your message, how people respond to that. The Hanged Man, the Magician. Yeah, you are magical. You're very magical. And the Nine of Pentacles. Okay. So yeah, they definitely see you as your own person. They see you as magical. They may see you as someone who's trying to right a wrong, I think, or right a sacrifice. Like I feel like there's something, whether it's literally like trying, as I say, some sort of psychic or spiritual lineage, or whether there's a connection to all of that where you are someone who is reviving something that's been almost in suspended animation for a while, and you do it because you are unique and you're able to manifest in some way. So then when we say really connects to the past and the ancestry and to the Ouroboros energy around it, the great transformative karmic cycles, how are they responding to that when you're effectively showing how you make objective decisions? Ace of Pentacles reversed, Six of Wands reversed, Knight of Wands. Okay, one of the things to be aware of is that people very much like how you shed light on things. They definitely think there's something magical that you are bringing in that's very unique. But when you are connecting back to the past and the ancestry, there may be some that think that you're not giving enough recognition to the new. And they may not see, they're not seeing that you are actually connecting. They're just seeing you charging ahead, but they're not understanding that you haven't suppressed the new. So I think that there may be a sort of thing here where it would help to make it clear that the kind of connection back to the past is to take it forward and create something new. Because I feel almost as though they may think, even though you're moving forward, they may not understand, they may think you're moving backwards. So that's worth being aware of. And then how are they responding to your life path, the actions that you're taking that are somehow connected to the past? The High Priestess, Judgment reversed, Eight of Pentacles. Okay, all right. I do think, okay, so this is telling me you're very magical. People see you as very magical. You are part of some sort of a lineage, whether it's literally in your bloodline or whether it's from past lives. You are very unique. People respond extremely well to that. They know that you're not telling them what to do. But it is possible that some, and I don't think this is true, it's just how people are responding. Some may feel that you are not following through your full calling because you are too tied to the past. They don't understand the wisdom underneath this. And they think that you're putting maybe a lot of hard work into something that isn't the new. Like, I think that some are misunderstanding this. So it just may need a little bit of a calibration in whatever way this is going, so that people don't think that you're too traditional, too much of the way everything was always done, because you are very unique and you're very magical, but it's like you're very reverential of the past and you're wanting to reclaim it, I think. I think there could be a point where people might misunderstand that. So it's just worth being aware of. I don't think it's a problem. It's just being aware of it. So let's also ask how the moon can help with this. If the sun is shining the light on all this stuff, and it is possible that there is a little bit of misunderstanding of your reverence for the past and your reverence for a lineage and for knowledge and for skill development, so that people don't confuse it and feel it gets in the way of what you could do, the moon may be able to shed some light on this. So this is also to connect back to Reena's reading. Six of Pentacles, Eight of Wands reversed, King of Wands. Okay, all right. I do think there is a moon thing here operating, and I think this is what's going on here. When people are looking at what you're doing and they're seeing this huge potential for something new and brilliant and magical, they may feel that your own creativity is being held back by the powers that be. So I think, as I say, this is only a problem if something you're trying to do is really needs them to understand that. If eventually they can sort it out and catch up, fine. You're not really hiding anything, but it's like somewhere in that fog or whatever, they're not fully seeing this. So it's a problem if that's the case, or it's a problem if they're seeing this because you're doubting yourself a bit. If in the moon, where it's not as clear and everything, you're wondering about whether you need the patronage of some lineage, because you don't. So it's the one thing, are they picking this up because for some of you, you are doubting some of your own unique magic and you want the patronage and the validation of others, in which case think about that, because you really don't need it. But if they're just misunderstanding, I think eventually they will see all of this that's maybe still a little bit hidden in the moonlight. So I think it just depends on which way that works. So want to have a look at how this is playing out for you in what I would call 3D energy, relationships, career, lifestyle and well-being using the Heart Code Oracle. So this is how your sun energy is operating at the moment. There could be challenges and there could be blessings in one or more of these areas. So around relationships, consequences. See, I think that's so multi-layered for this, because I think for some of you, as I say, like some of you, literally there's some sort of lineage that you're kind of almost bringing back, or way of doing things that you're bringing back. And there may be consequences for that. Consequences where people understand what you're doing, consequences when they don't. Also, the consequences of what happened to that lineage and what it is to bring that back. There's a lot of consequential relationships around your sun energy in one form or another. So I think it sort of behoves you to really think about that in how you interact with others and how they're responding to you. It kind of matters if they're seeing you accurately, I think. Kind of matters because there's consequences. Some of those consequences could be great, but I don't think you have many superficial relationships. Most are consequential, at least at this stage in your life and how your sun energy is operating. So then if we look at career or vocation, boundaries, yeah, and you probably need some boundaries around it. Because some people, they're just not going to understand and they could get in the way, and they don't mean harm, but they could get in the way. Some of their lineage from the past might want too much from you and they want things exactly as it was and you want the next level of it. So there are boundaries that are important in how this operates for you materially. How does that impact your lifestyle energy? Sudden changes. Sudden spurts of energy. Maybe that's the thing, like try where possible not to do sudden turns on a dime, because that's where you're likely to be confusing people and where your lifestyle might find a pressure with this. Like try and let it be sort of considered in how you deal with it. And your well-being, your sun energy, activity. Yeah, getting on with things, doing things. That kind of energy of sort of Mars moving forward, that kind of sense. Like activity, movement is good, but it's like activity that is not suddenly shifting or changing. It's sort of like on a steady pace and it's going towards a very clear goal, has good boundaries and understands the consequences of relationships. Okay, let's see how your 5D self operates with your sun energy. If that's your 3D kind of energy at the moment, what's your 5D self doing? Rainbow energy, the colours of the universe live within you, radiate their brilliance. So, like when I see rainbow, I think of diversity. I think of inclusion. I'm wondering whether this is the thing, like the way to get all this in balance, to get the best out of it and the magic is honouring the past and bringing that forward, but also including the modern. I think that your higher self wants you to be as inclusive as possible. And shine. Allow nothing to dim the light within you. Allow yourself to shine. Yeah, you are meant to shine. You are meant to be. It's a balance here, because I do think a lot of your magic, a lot of your uniqueness is actually a kind of modern version of something that's very ancient. But I also think that to shine properly, you do need to include all that is new and modern, as well as the heritage that you've come from. Let's see with the Indigo Goddess deck, a kind of a connection between the material and the spiritual, like how to connect these energies. Adventure, worlds of wonder. Yeah, worlds of wonder. There is. It's magical. Always keep the eye on the magical energy of this. And fertile, hatching new plans. Yeah, because I think this is the thing. I think some people may think that if you focus too much on the past and your lineage and all that kind of, or whatever this is, that you may not be doing that. You may not be hatching the new plans as well. You need both those energies. You need to really, it's a balance. It's a balance between the reverence for and understanding of your bloodline or your karmic line or whatever it is, but it's also bringing in the new. It's a very, very important thing for you. So to finish off pile one, I just want to get you a blessing for your sun energy, because I think it's a very powerful sun energy. But because it's powerful, it needs to be handled with a bit of care. So a blessing energy for you is A blessing to shield and safeguard you. Well, if you are coming from, and I did feel this, some sort of lineage of power that maybe was not well received, or that is not well received now, or not well understood, very magical, very powerful, then you are going to be protected with all of this. And that's important. Your magic is going to be protected. Your uniqueness is going to be protected. And your connection to this heritage is going to be protected. So that is good. So that's not the consequences you have to be concerned about. I think the consequences are just being misunderstood. And also there is a risk that you're not misunderstood, that you're misunderstanding yourself, that and this is what the moon was tilting at, that sometimes you may put too much into the patronage or the history and not enough into what you're bringing into it. So do go and see Reena's reading, because I think that's really, really important for you. But I think there's an enormous potential in this for your sun energy. So I hope you've enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 2, to your reading. So you came to the reading with the Sun from the Painted Tarot, which is an extraordinarily powerful version of the Sun, if you ask me. This looks to me like a kind of a being of the sun who, because of that, can withstand the heat and the flames of the sun, or a being that could stand in the middle of a supernova, like that kind of energy. I think there is a heavy sense of power with this and resilience that comes with it. It makes me think a bit of, Game of Thrones with Daenerys being able to go into the fire and withstand it. So there's probably some dragon energy in there as well too. But certainly this sense of a being of the sun, I think it will be very interesting to know what you'll get with the moon, because I think you are a being of the sun. But of course you will have the moon within you as well too. This is your element. You may be a strong fire sign or have fire in your chart quite strongly, but otherwise creative, powerful, radiant, resilient. So then if we look at, this is color energy to show the various lenses. So the first lens is around how you shed light on things to have clarity, how you see the truth, how daylight shows something, or moonlight shows a different sort of landscape. So there's different landscapes, and this is the landscape of light in day to get clarity. This is the energy of your generated light. So this is the light that you use to see. This is the light you generate yourself. This is how you use your sun energy to make objective decisions, as opposed to, say, subjective with the moon. And this is the energy around how it connects to your life path. Now, it's a very interesting combination of energies here, because with amethyst, with how you shed light, we've got enlightenment, rebirth, and resurrection. So there's a sense, this also feels like the phoenix rising. There is a sense that you are here to shed light on something, to resurrect something. Like it may be your own life path. It may be dealing with, sort of accelerated development around karma. That's possible with that energy. It may be even to do that for others, because you have a strength to stand in the full light of the sun in a way that maybe other people can't. But there's something here. It's very spiritual, so very connected to the moon energy as well too. But it's about you trying to clarify and see things clearly is in service towards enlightenment. It's in service towards resurrection, rebirth, the return of something, which is interesting. Because when we look at how you're shining your light, we have crimson, atonement, karma, penitence. There's something in here. I don't know. It is possible that for some of you, you made a decision that you were going to come in and shed the light so brightly on yourself that you could atone for things that you are not comfortable with from your karma, or you could be here to bring that light, to shed that light for where that is necessary. So some of you may work a lot with karmic sort of bonds, clearing karma, all that kind of thing for yourself or for others. But it is possible that you have been like you are like the phoenix rising now, and part of that is rising from a past where you want to get back to what was true and atone for maybe using your light in some way that you now feel you want to atone for. So that's interesting. So it's either you're here to help others with that, with your light, or you are doing that yourself, or it might be a bit of both, which is then very interesting that the objective truth is very pure. Like it's absolutely crucial for you when you're using your sun energy to look at decision making that is pure. So that is either, as I say, you know that you're on some accelerated pathway to clear your own karma, or you're helping others do it. You cannot be in the face of sunlight decisions that are not pure. So it's very interesting. There's a sense here around how you use light to get to stuff that feels very moon energy, but when you then make the decision, it's in the bright light of day. Anybody can see it. And then for your life path, we have moss, we have breeding, growth, reproduction. There could be a family connection here, or it could be that everything ultimately serves some material, almost natural growth cycle, which is partly the resurrection. It's not just bringing the clarity, it's actually allowing it to grow in some way. So there's something here about you helping the growth of others, I think. And if there has been an atonement, the new growth, if there was if you were pruning, for instance, as part of atonement as a gardener, then it would be also nurturing the new growth after everything was pruned back and it was made pure again. So there's an energy like that operating with you. Let's see the astrology around. It's a very interesting energy for the sun. Let's see the astrology energy. So again, going back to how you are looking for light to shine on things, for clarity, to get to enlightenment, to get to bringing back something that is worth bringing back. The astrology energy is moon and Chiron. Yeah, this is deeply emotional. It's very connected to the moon. I felt that. Very important to see Reena's reading. This is about healing. There's something to heal, whether it's in you or in others. You use clarity. You use the light that shines on things for healing. But I think you also use the moonlight and the emotional light to make that story, that energy, that information palatable, digestible, so that it can have a healing energy. Then we're over here and you're either atoning for something yourself so that the new growth is really positive and pure, or you're helping others to do that. You're kind of, the light that you shine brings this to the surface and allows for that. The astrology energy around that is Uranus, and Uranus, like major change, fast, rapid change. This is accelerated. This is huge, right in the center of the supernova, as I say. In this life, or right now in this life, either for yourself or for others, you are looking for breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough, breaking the chains of the past, breaking the karma of the past. This is a very evolutionary energy. Your sun energy is extremely evolutionary, which is why it probably needs to be, when you're making decisions, very pure. So the astrology energy around that is Uranus again and Neptune. This is the connection of the change with the ideal. So this is anchoring any decision in this massive, fast change process, is standing in the supernova to make sure that it is towards the ideal, to make sure that it is pure. So that then what can grow your life path? Sun and Neptune, a life path that is ideal. Yeah, this is either for you or for others, or maybe both. This is going through the fire, going through the change to make sure that what you grow and move with is, and your life path is towards an ideal, not towards something else. It's almost like either in this life or in another life, you lost something through that, not following an ideal, or you've seen others do it and you're helping them liberate. Like, it's very, very powerful. Let's see the alchemy around this. So the alchemy around the healing energy that has to do with getting the clarity on this. Breath, yeah, being able to sit back and breathe again, be able to emotionally touch that healing. Because there's huge, and I also think too, the breath that fans the flames, like it's necessary. Your use of breath, your use of healing as a way to fan the flames to bring this massive change process through. So then when we're looking at the alchemy of a double Uranus, mortification, yeah, oh, wow. There is definitely, like, this is why you're so resilient. This is a very fiery, very challenging energy. As I say, it's either for you or for others. If you are finding that you are going through a lot where you feel you're atoning for things, or you feel that could have been going on karmically and you've been connecting with that, or if you're in the middle of that through something that maybe even through no fault of your own, but through family stuff or whatever, you feel that it's like it's mortifying. It's like this change is so full on. You've chosen it, I think, because you're strong enough to do it, and because it accelerates everything. Like, this is breaking karmic bonds. This is like, there is nothing, it will not be the same once this is done. Then we get to the purity. Then we move to the change that comes to the purity. So the alchemy energy here, synchronicity. Once you actually have done this, or you've helped others with it, you can connect it all. You can connect the ideal back. Synchronicity is telling you that you will be getting a lot of messages, Neptune, from the universe to guide that, to make sure that it's pure for you. There's like an evidence that's coming from the universe for you to make the right decisions. You'll get plenty of signs. And then to go on the life path that grows towards the ideal, Pluto. See, you are strong enough to go deeply into the underworld. You are strong enough to do this for others, I think. I think that for many, you're going through this yourself, but it's so you can do it for others. And you can go into the shadow in the way others can't. Many of you, karmic bond breaking, shadow work, all of that sort of stuff, really powerful. Very interesting. So let's see how other people respond to each aspect here. So let's see firstly how they're responding to this healing energy that comes from enlightenment, and kind of resurrecting and remembering what needs to be remembered so that this process can be gone through and cleared forever. So how others respond to that with you is the Seven of Swords reversed, the Five of Cups, the King of Coins. Okay. So they see something very healthy in it, and a legacy, and it's like understanding the legacy. So it's getting real about the legacy and breaking emotional issues that were holding it back. So there's a great deal of clarity that's coming here about very long-term things. And I also think it's to get to something very healthy and sustainable, getting real about the emotional things that aren't going to work anymore. So there's something in the history of it that this is a clarity that is necessary to heal emotional issues, and people see that, they understand that's what you're doing. So then this is the hardest one, I've got to say. When you're shining this bright light on everything, it's on yourself, it's on everybody. Nobody can hide. It's mortifying, but it isn't the most amazing change energy. How do people respond to this? Five of Swords reversed, Two of Swords reversed, Three of Pentacles. This is really positive for all of that. They see you not giving up, and they don't give up. They know that what is not being required right now is a choice, just a connection, a better foundation, a healthier foundation. Everything's moving towards the kind of healthy growth energy. So they see that you can withstand the fire, then they can withstand the fire. You're an incredible sort of signpost for them about what is possible in terms of change. So then the synchronicities and so forth that are coming through, the moving towards the ideal and purity, how do people respond to that? Wheel of Fortune reversed, Fool reversed, the Ten of Wands. So this is the hardest bit in a way for them. It's almost like witnessing this and even hanging on while the kind of Uranian tower energy type of turmoil is going on. The hardest thing is standing in the purity. It's like understanding wisdom without cynicism. It's being able to carry a burden without feeling weighed down by fortune. This is where everything is seen. This is where everyone has to come to the truth. So it's the hardest thing for them, but it is the getting of wisdom. And then this sort of like deep change, this transformation that allows for healthy growth. How do people respond to that? Eight of Swords, Temperance, Empress. This is the getting of responsibility and being magnanimous about it so that the growth can occur. I feel like here the Eight of Swords is working. It's hard. Like your message is not simple or easy. If you were like, a reader like this, you wouldn't be like reading happy all the time. But nevertheless, it gives people an understanding both of where they've been trapped, but also where they need to kind of have some boundaries around what they do to bring things into balance so that the growth can be good. So they see the benefit in the end, but this is the hardest bit. Standing in the full purity, it's hard for anybody. It's hard for you, probably it's hard for everybody, but because you could do it, people now feel that they can do it. Let's see how the moon operates with this. So the sun is a incredibly strong and powerful force for change and burning everything out to purify it. As I say, the phoenix rising. So how does the moon work in? Just to connect back with Reena's reading. Two of Pentacles reversed, Ace of Cups reversed, and the Nine of Pentacles reversed. The moon is trying to make sure that you understand you're not alone, that if you're doing this for yourself, you're going to do it for others. But the moon is also, I think, protecting your heart and giving you a space and a time not to have to make decisions while this rapid change energy operates. And also, if you are taking this moon energy into it, it's giving people a place to protect their heart and not make choices until they've made the right connections and until they feel supported. So the moon is a kind of gentle energy on this, because you're a very powerful energy. Your sun energy is very powerful. Let's see how it's operating across a number of aspects of your 3D life. So relationships, career, lifestyle and well-being, using the heart code oracles. These could be other challenges, or they could be benefits. So let's see what we get. Around relationships, decision. Yeah, I think there are a lot of decisions, but I think the first decision is the relationship with yourself and your own relationship with the sun energy, to decide to do this for yourself and to help others with it. You are also forcing people, if you're helping them, into a decision point, but I think you're giving them the way to do that in a healthy and balanced way. You may sometimes have to make decisions about who to have in your life, though, because not everybody can withstand this, I've got to say. This takes a lot of resilience. Around your career, particularly I'd say if you use some of this in your career in some way, success. You will be successful. You will be. You'll be successful at breaking the karmic stuff yourself, but I think there's something in this where it could be used in directly or indirectly for your career success. Then when we're looking at lifestyle, how your sun energy affects lifestyle, suggestion. Okay, so this could be a number of things. This could literally be saying, and I'm thinking maybe the synchronicities here, that the universe or others might be wanting to make suggestions to you that would help your lifestyle. This is such an intense energy, it's worth listening to it. But it may also be saying that the way you live your life is like a suggestion to others. It's the power of suggestion. So it depends. For different people, it's probably working different ways. Let's have a look at the energy of wellness for you with your sun. Mantra. Okay, I think this is like, how do you balance yourself? What is the mantra? And also the suggestion, like, it's really important for you to have the right mantras, the right affirmations, all of that going through, so that you can go through this process and you can help other people with it. And again, the way you do that, it opens your own soul to suggestion, and it probably also opens others to suggestion. Wow, okay, you guys are interesting. Let's see what your 5D self is sort of relate. How does your 5D self relate to the sun? Atlantean soul. Your Atlantean soul brings service to humanity, awareness of universal identity. It might go way back to then. It could go way back to then in terms of what you're trying to sort of like clear. But if not, then maybe you have a memory of things like this from that time. And I'm sorry the light's not great at the moment. It's sort of like the sun is starting to set a little bit here in Sydney as I do this. And alchemist. Once you understand the essence of everything is contained within everything, all things become possible. Yeah, you are. There is an alchemy here. This is the most distilled form of alchemy. You know, the real healing energy of that, of burning everything out so that it can be purified. So let's see how we marry the two of those, the sort of spiritual with the material for your sun energy, pile 2. Abundance, fruits of your labour. Yeah, you're going to be successful with this, definitely. There will be a reward. And depths under the surface. This is, the Pluto thing. What you have to grow, what there is to grow, it goes very, very deep. And once you've kind of cleared the energy for yourself and others, it goes very, very deep, but you'll be very successful with it. Okay, so it's pretty full on, I got to say, pile 2. So let's get you a blessing to close out the reading. A blessing of the waters, and it's interesting, that's the depths. the emotional cleansing. So I feel like even the Plutonian thing, it feels like it's underwater. It's sort of like getting into the depths of emotion. And ultimately, if you've been in the fire for this long and you're taking other people through the fire, the water is what cools it down. So there is a blessing at the end. There is the abundance. There is the success. And there is the rapid shifting of karmic energy. And then there's something very cleansing about it. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like and subscribe. Do go and see Reena's reading, because I do feel there's a really strong energy there to support you, because there is such a blazing energy you have with the sun here that you do need the moon to balance that off. So do go and see her reading. But other than that, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 3, to your reading. So you came to the reading with the Sun card from the Radiant Wilds Tarot. And it's very interesting because I have a particular feeling when I look at this Sun card, and it actually really fits with what's come up with the colour energy we're going to talk about. Because what I feel when I look at this Sun card is I feel like the person feels they're looking at the sun. They have the dress of the sun in some way, but it's like it's a little bit far away. It's like they're looking at it, there's a sense of longing, or it's a destination. And that's interesting because when I look at the energy here, I see a very spiritual energy, probably a kind of moon energy, so very, very important to sort of see Reena's reading, but almost a little bit detached. And why I say that, these are the various lenses I talked about. So this is colour energy to show how you use the light of the sun to get clarity, to see things clearly. This is how you radiate your own sunshine and your own light. This is how you then use the light of your sun to make good objective decisions. And this is how the light of your sun lights your life path. And like we've got three very sort of purpley kind of energies, which is very spiritual. And then we've got a kind of a combination between almost a black energy and a green energy, which feels like the heart, but feels like the heart's sort of a little bit shut down. And it's looking like this. This looks to me like, because there's beautiful energy here, starting with this, with lavender, compassion, empathy, sensitivity, your clarity. When you shine your light on something, you do it with such grace, with such kindness, with such compassion. Like, that is beautiful. And you make it possible for people to see things and understand things and so forth. You bring clarity with an incredible emotional nuance. But I feel like you do it for everybody but yourself, to be honest, Pile 3. This is why you're looking at the sun. Other people, when they look at you, they see the sun because they see this warmth and this sensitivity. But you're looking at the sun. You've almost kept yourself a bit separate. And I think part of it, I want to jump down to here to the life path with indigo, discovery, intuition, perception, is that you almost have made your spiritual search your life path. And as such, it's almost as though you would see being in the heart of the sun, in the heart, it would be almost like being in the heart of your ego. And so you're keeping yourself separate for really good perception. But the thing about that is that yes, it always means the sun is there shining light and stuff, and you can be kind to others, but you're not getting the warmth of it. And you're not getting the return when you're making your decisions. So this beautiful energy here that helps others, when you move over to shining your own light, we've got periwinkle, chilled, frigid, frozen. Something stopped you doing this, Pile 3. And I think it's a spiritual thing. I think there's a kind of a ascetic, mystic energy to you, which is in many ways wonderful, but I think that it keeps you from all the potential of your sun. I think this is something to think about. And it might be even that something has done this. You may feel that you can't shine your light so brightly because it's not kind to others, and others will feel threatened potentially. Maybe somebody said that to you. Maybe you've been in a very rigid religious or spiritual group that said, that's just all ego. You've got to kind of be detached. There's something going on here. But I feel like this energy is wanting to unfreeze you. Use your sun energy here to your own internal energy can unfreeze you. Nothing else can. It's your sun energy that can do it. And something has to close out for that to happen, because there's a decision about ending, conclusion, death, end. You have to end something. So I feel like it's some belief structure that keeps you separate from your own sun energy, or other people and so forth that have taken maybe advantage of your great compassion and empathy, and they're sucking all the sun energy out from you, so you're kind of left depleted. But something needs to end and shift. There needs to be an objective looking at this so that you shift it. And then you can connect back your sun energy to all of the stuff that you have around your spiritual energy. But I feel that you are more naturally at home at the moment with your moon energy, so definitely see Reena's reading. But there is a very strong need here for you to end anything that is keeping you from your own sun energy. So let's see the astrology that's associated with this. So this beautiful empathy, which, as I say, without the rest of this, I would be saying, oh, that's just gorgeous and wonderful. And it is gorgeous and wonderful. But if it's being exploited, or if you're overdoing that at the expense of your own sun and your own life path, then it's too self-sacrificial. So let's see the astrology energy here. Venus and Saturn, yeah. What restrictions have you put on yourself in the name of love? Whether this is a romantic partner or whether it's just your love and empathy for others. Like, I think you've really dimmed your own light for some reason, and it's kind of to help others. It's kind of not to outshine them, I think, or that you've been taught somehow in some sort of very disciplined way that this is necessary. But this is like, that's not true, because your heart is beautiful, that doesn't need this deep restriction. Then when we look at the energy about your own light and the need to use your own light and your own sort of generated light to unfreeze yourself, because that's the only way you can really shed true light on other people. Moon and Mars, yeah, there's got to be a kind of a reconciliation of your own fiery energy with your emotions. Something's made you feel, as I say, that you've got to kind of almost step back to protect yourself. But this is trying to get you to kind of like act again. Then what needs to end? Like, what is the decision, the objective decision you need to make to end something, to open all of this up? It's got to do with Moon. Oh, okay, this is a weird card because it says Moon Mercury, but it's actually Moon and Mars. So it's Moon and Mars again. But I think because it says Moon Mercury, I go with both. So I think that this is saying that whatever this is has to end. Like, it's saying it quite, do not freeze out your own light anymore, pile 3. Your light is beautiful. You're a beautiful person. Don't freeze it out. But I think it's saying that the way to do it is through how you communicate with others, with Mercury. So you have to shine your light, and you have to communicate, and you have to take action on your emotions, not freeze them out, not hide them away, or not sort of always self-sacrifice them for somebody else. So then the astrology energy around your, around your life path it's all action. It's all fiery energy. It's getting that back in. Do you know, it feels like your divine feminine has been exploited in some way. You're in a divine, and it's time for your divine masculine to step up and do something about it. Like, this will really unleash a lot and unleash your sort of fiery energy, but you have to stop the self-sacrifice. So let's see the alchemy around this. So around this sort of limitation you put on yourself because of your beautiful heart. Wise salt. Okay, so wise salt is a process that salt in a laboratory, what it's meant to do is absorb what is good to keep and leave the rest behind. So your compassion, your empathy, your beautiful heart, all of that is good to keep. But these restrictions, you leave them behind. The wisdom is to know what to leave behind and what to keep. That's the key thing, because there's a lot that's beautiful here. When we're talking about whatever's frozen you, the alchemy, wow, the raven's head. What I like about this is that it says that the work has started. The work to defrost has started. Even coming to this reading, it's started. And the raven has chosen you. There is now a destiny. There is now an action. You can't stop it. The alchemical process has begun. So you can't hide or dim your sun anymore, because the sun is just as essential in the alchemical process as the moon. So there is a real push towards this now. It is time. Pile 3. So then what needs to end? What's the energy around that? The peacock's tail. Okay, so I don't think the peacock's tail needs to end. I think you need to unleash the peacock's tail. You have to go into the Negredo. So the Negredo is the thing that comes before the peacock's tail. It takes all the elements of your life and it burns them all out with the fire of the sun to find the new, pure, beautiful energy to arise. You need the sun. You need your ego, pile 3. I think you're very egoless. I think something or someone or some people have made you like this and it has frozen you and it's frozen your potential, but you can't do it anymore. You're going to come out so beautifully. This is a beautiful thing. So don't worry about it. But it's like, it's regaining your sense of action and your sense of autonomy and your sense of self-directed energy. So, and so powerful when it happens. So this is beautiful. This is the ending, brings about the beautiful new, the peacock's tail, all the possibilities that then leads you to your life path, acting again into your life path rather than being frozen and having to look after everybody else's. The alchemy around that, the void, you may feel, my goodness, what am I going into now? Because if you have been in a situation where your life has almost been given up to look after everybody else, which is what this looks like, then it may seem like the void, but you know, in the void, all possibilities are there. And the truth of who you are is there. And your own life path again is there. And that intuition energy, you are very well suited to be able to navigate that. You're psychic enough, you're strong enough, all of that. That's why the raven has chosen you. I think the raven would be a psychopomp of the void. You will find your way and all possibilities open up. And it's time, Pathra. I feel this very urgently. So let's see. Now we have to look at how others are going to respond to this. And I do think, some may be very supportive, but equally, I think some have benefited out of your sort of self-sacrifice. So let's just see as you go through this, because you are going through it now. You are reclaiming your sun, reclaiming your life path, reclaiming your glorious energy, Pile 3. How are people going to respond to you determining better where to put your compassion? King of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, the Star reversed. So there's two different things that could be happening here. And I think it's going to be all the way through, because I think there are people who are wanting to support you in this, and there are also people who were benefiting from how you were before. For those that are wanting to support you, they see that you're finally stepping into your own mastery. They see love is possible for you, and they want you to claim that so that you can get back on your path of your destiny. But for those that have benefited from you putting everybody else first, some of them may feel that they may try to tell you that you have responsibility and that it's an act of love to be self-denying. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. You have a heart that could, but don't. You're meant to have love. You're meant to have your own sort of authority here. You're meant to get back onto your path. Okay, so then when we look at the big change, the unfreezing, when this occurs, when the raven calls you and you have to follow, how is that going to be responded to by other people? The Seven of Pentacles, the Nine of Wands reversed, the Chariot reversed. Okay, this gets trickier. There will be people on your side still who see this is exactly the investment you need, and they see the energy that you bring this, helps them as well. But you are going to have to be careful with people who feel that this has put them off course. There are people in your life who have benefited by you freezing your own sense of self, and they are going to be a bit discombobulated. But ultimately, those that matter will see this is exactly the investment that was necessary. It's exactly how you can grow and build, so that you do get back to your life path. Then when we look at, okay, the energies that are a bit negative here, as opposed to the ones that are positive, have to end so that the peacock's tail can come through. What's the response to that? The Moon, the Eight of Swords reversed, the Three of Swords. Some will feel the loss. You are going to walk away from certain people in your life. It's not everybody, but some will feel that. But most will think this is the most wonderful liberation of emotion. And the Moon is very important here. There'll be something in Reena's reading that is about what you let go of, that is clearing the energy for you, liberating you. It may feel a bit painful, or some people may find it painful, but it's necessary. It's where the moon is meeting the sun. And then when you are following your life path and the infinite possibility and action that can come from doing that, when you release yourself, how will people respond? Knight of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles reversed, Five of Cups. Okay. Some are just not going to get it. It's saying it all the way through. But that's why you had this problem in the first place. But others are seeing this. Like, it's really interesting the amount of pentacles we're looking at. Others will be seeing this as it's something you can be dedicated to, something that matters, and something that would make them very dedicated to you. They see it as a good investment, and they see it as you finally stepping into your legacy, what you are meant to have. But others are sort of, they don't like the decision and they're disappointed. But don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. This is really important. Now, we do have the moon there around letting things go, but let's just also use this tarot to ask a little bit more about the moon to connect back to Reena's reading. Nine of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles reversed, Five of Swords reversed. Yeah, certain material things have to break down, and you don't give up. You have to ride this out. But the moon is going to help you have that sense of independence that you need to have, particularly materially. There's a lot of material stuff about this. It's almost like you could have been in some sort of job that was in service to others, but you're meant to be an entrepreneur or something on a very material level. Yeah, or you've been raising a family and you now want to have your own career or something like that. There could be that kind of energy, but the moon is going to help you with that. The other thing that struck me as I was shuffling is what I find really fascinating about this is, of the three decks that I chose, this is the one that I feel is most imbued with the sun energy because its colours are so bright. Like the unfolding path, there's a lot of white energy around it. In the painted tarot, there's all sorts of colours. This is the most sun energy, and yet it was where it was most needed, I think. You were drawn to it because you most need it, and because it is what's going to be the major power. It will end up being your strongest energy, but you've just got to unleash it. So let's have a look at it on a 3D level. So we're going to use the Heart Code Oracles to look at relationships, career, lifestyle and well-being for any other energies around your sun energy. So these could be further challenges, or they could be beneficial, or they could be advice. We'll just see what we get. So around a relationship, fear. Yeah, don't have fear about it. You're going to invoke fear in others though. Those that don't want to lose your incredible generosity. And look, those that are worth it are not going to lose it, but I don't think they're the ones that are going to be in fear. I think the ones who have exploited it will be. But don't let fear stop you, and don't let their fear, because you're so empathic that you might kind of not want to hurt them. But you know what? They've got to kind of learn how to be strong themselves when it comes right down to it. So then let's see it around career and vocation. Education. This could be suggesting that there's something in this that you can teach others. It could be going back to getting some education. If you have been looking after everybody else and you really want to study something, go for it. It could be, following, as I say, following some sort of education pathway with your career. But I think there's a lot that you could teach others out of this. So I think that's probably the most universal part of it. Let's have a look at lifestyle, the lifestyle energy. If you are starting to break free of this massive responsibility. Spontaneity, yeah. Get back to have fun. Been so frozen. Any time you can do something spontaneous, do stuff with real friends, all that kind of thing, do it. It's like the action, all that Mars. If you're feeling in the void and you're feeling a bit lost, just do something spontaneous for fun. It's going to take you where you need to go. And in terms of wellness for you, treatment, you may need that. You may need something because there's so much going on in here. But I feel like it's not anything major. I feel like it's, go and get a massage, be in a spa, that kind of thing. Or anything that can help you sort of limber up, feel warm. Heat therapies of various sorts might be helpful. Just the treatment of being out in the sunshine could be helpful. So if that's what's going on in the 3D level, let's have a look at what's happening for your 5D self in relation to your sun energy. Mind shift. Struggle dances to the tune of the mind. Ease flows with the tune of the heart. Yeah, this is a mind shift. This is shifting out of a way that you've been programmed to think into something that is more true to you. And Explore. A soul adventure calls you. Explore the uncharted waters of your inner and outer world. The void is actually not something to be worried about. Spontaneity. Explore. Have fun. Like this is really, you're old before your time, pile 3. This is time to have fun and enjoy. You deserve it. Let's see the connection between the material and the spiritual that is promised by your sun energy. The matrix, revealing the truth. You're breaking out of the matrix. Like you're caught in the matrix. This is freeing you. And lone wolf, strike out on your own. Yeah. The irony about this is that I feel that to find the best people in your life, you have to be prepared to walk away from anybody, and then you will find out and see who are the people to be in your life. So you have to have that courage to be on your own. But in doing that, you'll bring the right people to you and you'll break out of the matrix energy. Okay, so it's a bit of a heavy message, but oh God, I think it's got potential. Like I seriously think in some ways this is the best of the 3 readings because there is so much promise here for you to finally get the sort of warmth and light and inspiration that you richly deserve. So let's see what a blessing is to close out the reading for you. A blessing for a fresh start. Like what better could you ask for? It's exactly right. You have really, really earned this. Your soul is lovely, your heart is lovely, but some people have taken advantage of that. Not everybody will. But once you really kind of defrost and you allow yourself to shine and you allow yourself to be spontaneous and explore and connect that way and finish all these sort of obligations that have been kind of manipulated into you, there's a beautiful fresh start and beautiful opportunities for you. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Do go and see Reena's reading. I do think the moon is very important here as well too. I think the moon has probably been your sustenance. That would be my guess. And you probably needed it, but now it's time for the sun to shine. So I absolutely wish you the very best with this, and I hope to see you in future readings.